Hello everyone, this is Village Life episode 2 and I'm just gonna dig in. We are all probably experiencing some hardcore ancestor trauma, knowingly or unknowingly, and living in a village means you're really living a healthy life. You are surrounded by people who were just in Europe, for example, just coming to your house. Our doors were always open any time of the day. Someone will, anytime, any day, actually, someone will knock on the door, or not even, and just come and hang out, neighbor, people, So it's an open space in a way. Everybody's friendly. If you go into Austria, even those days, they still have like those stands that they sell products like milk and eggs and everything they make on their farms. And you just put money in the basket and take whatever it is. Imagine that in the States. Interesting, huh? So there is some kind of loyalty and simplicity and really healthy lifestyle. Like everything, the only thing we bought when I was growing up was kind of sugar. Everything else we had. We made our own flour with the wheat that we were making. We had our own milk, 2 cows, 3 pigs, 10 chickens, enough for 8 people, 9 people to live throughout the year. Of course, a big garden, a lot of fields, a lot of work, a tractor, Zetor. Fun life, and when you need to pick up the corn, the whole village comes and you do that if you want to or not. So it's a really nice, healthy, kind of the boutique organic lifestyle that people describe now. That's beautiful. But the mindset there are things that emotionally people were not aware of. So here's the thing, if we look at the ancestors and the whole lineage, especially I was working this last few past weeks on maternal lineage and all the women, what they've been through. Like if you look from the First World War on, so at least like 4 generations before me, there was not one woman that would have a job. My mom was the first. They were all just serving men and taking care of the children. And they needed to cook and taking care of the men and be quiet. And, men in the villages, they used to abuse the women, beat them up whenever. They drank a lot. They were gambling even like in the old school ways, They were the man, and woman is quiet, needs to clean, cook, take care of the children. So if you think about all that, for me, when I realized that it was easily to actually let go of the victim mode I was in order to, not in order to, but based on what I experienced as a child. Because if you look at that from that perspective, it kind of opens up a whole new point of view, and you can understand it. Your grandma was the way she was because her mom treated her that way, or that's how she learned from her mom, right? And so on and so on. And it's really simple. Then at that moment I could forgive my parents, my grandparents, for anything, because they did their best. They still loved us all as much as they could, because at the end of the day all we want, it's love, right? If we admit it or not. Now, if we let the hate and insecurities and fear to take over, that's okay too. And that's why they're there. They're still serving us to grow, and we're not ready to let go of that yet. But I can tell you and promise you that once we're like, usually people need to be tired of that in order to let go, or we gotta suffer, because we choose to suffer, by the way. We always choose that shit, right? Somehow we do. There's no other way. Once we realize, hey, it was enough, when the time comes, we can let go of it and choose not to suffer. Or even if we kind of feel that other side of the experience, that it maybe not be pleasant because it's sad and traumatizing, if we don't judge it, it will serve the purpose of, how do they say, the pain is actually an opportunity of letting go. It's a gift of acknowledging what we can let go of, what doesn't serve us anymore. So if we can be compassionate, if we can use that compassion, and if we can be vulnerable, you're gonna be doing hallelujah, because you're gonna free yourself. And those little steps really helped me to slowly start realizing, okay, there is this heaviness I'm carrying throughout my life that doesn't really serve me anymore. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to be like, fuck, I hit the bottom line until I don't want to hurt myself so badly that, or something. I didn't have those. I mean, we all, I guess, think about those things, but it was just a lot of suffering that I choose to have because of all the past experience. And then to as Teal Swan would say, it's really hard to swallow the pill that we choose that, because that means we need to admit to ourselves that we actually created that intentionally throughout our mind. But it's nothing wrong with that, because it serves us to be exactly where we are today. And everything is how it should be in this reality and space and time, I guess. There is a vastness of all that. So last time I told you a little bit about my story and that part of, me singing and being exposed to different environments as a singer without my parents, and the freedom of experiencing different environments like that. I think it really gave me the perspective that maybe otherwise I wouldn't ever be exposed to. And for that, I am so grateful. But still, I kind of, because of triple abandonment, was, no one would care about my feelings if I would cry again. You can't cry. If I didn't want to go to school, of course you go to school. Like those things, it's out of the question. It's out of the question, you know? Of course. Left such a traumatic patterns in me that I developed a big resistance, and I was rebellion instead of, my attitude was like that. Instead of choosing to love myself and be like, okay, they didn't show me this, but I will show myself how to love myself. And of course I can't even be mad at myself, because, and why would be that would be choosing suffering again, right? Which I did for a while. but why would I do that? How could I do that at that time? And I wasn't even aware that that's possible. No one showed me that. And that's one thing too that helped me to forgive myself. I was able to let go of that judgment towards myself. It's really hard to let go, man. It's fucking the hardest thing sometimes to forgive yourself and let go of things that you are not even aware of. Like, I hope you can find that compassion for yourself. For me, it was like I always had compassion for others, but to apply that to myself, I'm just learning that now. To stand my ground. What? No, I'm gonna do everything you tell me to because I want you to love me, because I was abandonment, because I had an abandonment situation and I have that issue. And people even recognize that, take advantage of that shit, and then you are in the circles. I wrote the song Blue and Purple in a Circle. It's like you have wisdom, but then the blue hits and it's sadness, and it's that blues that, it's not good. But it serves the purpose. So. Okay. Anyway, if you want to get out of that shit, I recommend Teal, Swan, and Ancestor Healing, or anybody else. I also wanted to give you a little story about my spiritual growth here today. I was always curious about all that stuff, and Einstein was probably the beginning of it, because he said everything is energy. So I really wiser than Einstein now, because if we don't agree with that. So then you explore that. As a musician, I was exploring frequencies, all that, jazz. And then with being curious about stuff like that, I had a car accident, and I couldn't for a year. Like, if I would stand for half an hour on my feet, especially in the high heels, because when you perform and stuff, I had such a pain in my lower back, and here on the upper, actually couldn't stand. And it hurt, and so I found a healer, energy healer in Slovenia. His name is Zlatko. That means golden. And he literally put hands on me, and in 30 minutes, that pain was just gone. So then, the mystery of me believing in energy started being clearer through that. Still, from then till where I'm at now, it took me 15 years to find and question all the beliefs that I was raised with throughout the also Christianity and stuff that was spiritually brought to me throughout my life, especially childhood. So that was something that really opened my mind. And then I did like I was trying to understand our brain more and how everything is connected to our soul and what the soul is. What is that? And I mean, all that is very complex. We are so complex, and it's hard to say all of that in a few minutes. But just the bones of it. I started being curious about hypnosis and what is it, NLP programming. So how our neuro paths are working, how our brains are responding to that. There's, excuse me, so many things and 3 times more knowledge out on this world now. And those were the beginnings. And then I started doing Reiki and dosing and all that. But there were really few healers who helped me get more in touch with myself. They cleaned some shit from my ancestors, so I could. It's almost like someone makes a little space so you can see clearer, you know. I would like to recommend you books. Don Miguel Ruiz, 4 Agreements, The Mastery of Love, The Voice of Knowledge. There's the first book I ever read that was like this was Michael Newton, Journey of Souls. Then there's the Celestine Prophecy, of course. Before that even was probably Oprah. She's like the basic one when you're like, oh, people talk about those things. Yay. That's why is that so interesting and why that resonates with me and that makes sense. So she was the beginner. Then Eckhart Tolle, of course. I know it's hard to teach someone how to live in the now. It's, but still so much knowledge there. Abraham, aka Esther Hicks. Lately I'm listening to Bashar, his channeler. I mean, it's really Darl Anka, but the Bashar is the being from another reality that helps give some knowledge. So that's interesting if you're curious about that. Then it's Patrick's has a great podcast and amazing guests. There's another podcast, Know Themselves, with really beautiful guests there. Elizabeth April talks a lot about, different life shapes and different beings in this space. And not only in this universe, it's, there's so many people out there now that share knowledge. Dolores Cannon, she had so much knowledge that she shared with people, and it's out there. She did also quantum healing and stuff. So if you are all interested about, just get some knowledge and find what works for you. And but definitely, I think Teal Swan is the one that helped me get rid of a lot of stuff through integrational work and through parts work. And she has a YouTube channel that will just take you down the rabbit hole if you're curious about anything. I highly recommend all that. Go explore. I think we're here in this life to explore. Might as well have some fun, give something to each other, some love. uplift someone today, give them some love. Like, choose love. It's way more fun. Like, all this heavy shit is kind of boring to me, and I hope people will choose love instead of everything else, that it's way easier when it comes to those decisions that we make anyway, every day. And since we are like, I would just want to say this as well, since we are in the phase throughout the planets and stuff, I'm always, it's like a weather, like, let's see what kind of weather is today, okay, because Mercury is doing this and Saturn is doing that, and like Jyotish is a great thing. I'm also always checking out Henry Hubbard, an inspiring new show. She shares on her podcast all that stuff daily. Amazing. She also helped me with placements of Reiki and stuff. Helped me heal so much. Still does. Thank you, sister. So through her, I'm always like learning about what's going on. What's the weather? Okay, so right now, duality and duality is the main theme, beside the healing of maternal lines and all that crazy feminine lineage stuff for women right now that's going on. It's duality. So duality meaning you can, heal the lack of betrayal. If you had that in your ancestor lineage, through experiencing loyalty in this lifetime, or you can heal the lack of abundance in, I don't know, I guess financial abundance or whatever, through experiencing that in this lifetime. Although we always have abundance, like that's a funny one. I've learned lately that we always have abundance, like no matter what. Like you will even have abundance of lack, We just need to focus, maybe, if you really, if you can understand that we do create our reality somehow through our projection of, based on our vibration, we attract what we need, not what we want. Or as they would say, God will give you what you need, not what you want. Basically, I believe we attract that through the resonance of our body, right? Whatever we're focusing on. So I'm not a master here. I'm still learning. This is my healing journey too, that I'm sharing with you in order to maybe encourage you to do the same and smash this shit out of the system if it doesn't serve you anymore. Take it or leave it, That's about it for today, I think. What else? Love yourself and others. Have a great rest of the week, and love above all. Yo.